Coming up, Fort Scott firefighters rescue a woman and child from a burning apartment building. And a Joplin organization cuts the ribbon on a new facility to help young mothers. Also, you donate and the 4 states benefit. We take you behind the scenes for a look at this year's Toy Box campaign.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first, let's go to Michael Hayslip in the Skywatch Weather Center.
Warm enough for you on a December morning?
How weird.
Ridiculous out there.
But it's windy.
It is windy. We've got expanded wind advisories as well. Came up just short of setting some records yesterday. Just missed it. Just by about 2-3 degrees there in Java. It was about 4 degrees in Chanute. But I mean, we're talking about temperatures at 5 a.m. being 69 degrees over 7th and Rangeline right now. And we're in the middle of December. Oh my goodness. Now, Tanya alluded to this. Oh, it is windy out there, gusting 26 miles per hour. Look at Chanute sitting at 70 degrees. 70 degrees pre-sunrise temperature. Yeah, we've got a lot of changes coming, but I tell you what, you can't beat how comfortable it is right now. There's our wind tracker. We're rolling in 20 miles per hour. A little bit of a shift now from the southwest. But what that does is expand those wind advisories and the light tan all throughout southwest Missouri and northeast Oklahoma. The orangish color out to the west, that is a high wind warning. About 3rd consecutive day that's been there. And those 50 million Americans that we talked about yesterday that were in the midst of either wind advisory, watch, or warning. Now you can expand that. It's about, say 70 million people right now, so it's not just us. We do have some cloud cover to contend with for 2nd consecutive day. If we would have got some sunshine yesterday, it would have shattered those records, but clouds just, they weren't going to give up, and we knew that. We're getting some light scattered rain, had a little bit overnight, no accumulation to speak of, but we also know that we've got a little thunderstorm activity on the way. So there we are as we work through the morning hours, shouldn't hamper any of your travel. Now as we get into Wednesday night, and you get a little calm before the storm, if you will, and then out to your top left-hand corner, here comes the thunderstorm right along a fine line. That's got the heavy rain that comes with it, and as it progresses off to the southeast, hopefully done there by the early Thursday morning hours, you'll notice a big change in the severe thunderstorm risk map, though. We are now throwing the high category into portions of Iowa, Minnesota, and Michigan. For us, we'll stay in that marginal category. Same thing as we had yesterday when we last updated it. Do have a chance for some good wind gusts, anywhere 40, 50 miles per hour. And then temperatures, well, yeah, we'll say it's a cool down, but at the same point in time, remember that 58, 10 degrees above normal. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's definitely odd out there for December. Can't doubt that.
Somebody may have walked outside today with a coat on out of habit because it's December. And I went, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be needing this morning.
Yeah, didn't have to turn the heater on in the car on the way to work.
Had the windows down.
Yeah, it was beautiful. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, the Newton County prosecutor files murder charges against a man accused in a shooting death. The prosecutor charged Cameron Stotts with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Investigators say Stotts shot and killed Alexis Guajardo Perez on November 9th. You can read more about the crime on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A woman and child who were trapped in a fire in this Fort Scott apartment building are safe after a rescue. The fire broke out Tuesday morning in a 2nd-story unit at the Highland Apartments on Shepherd Street. Firefighters managed to get the woman and child out through a bedroom window. Crews evacuated the entire building and contained the fire to the one unit. No injuries were reported. The fire department tells us the Red Cross is helping people who were displaced. Crowder College in Neosho has a new president. On Tuesday, the college made the announcement on Facebook. Dr. Katricia Pearson will take the role on January 13th. Dr. Pearson is currently the president of East Central University in Ada, Oklahoma. The current Crowder president, Dr. Glenn Colthorpe, will stay on as advisor until his retirement on June 30th. Oklahoma tribal leaders say Governor Kevin Stitt's decision to not renew hunting and fishing license compacts with the Cherokee and Choctaw Nations is part of an ongoing dispute. The tribes and the governor have been at odds over issues including a U.S. Supreme Court ruling regarding criminal jurisdiction and casino compacts. 2016 licensing compacts provided hunting and fishing licenses to the Cherokee and Choctaw nations at little or no cost to the tribal citizens. A Stitt spokesperson said Stitt believes all Oklahomans should be treated equally. Well, when you donate to the KOAM Toy Box project, every cent you give goes to buy toys, and those toys go to the kids in the county they were donated in. As you saw from our telethons, it takes a lot of people to power the Toy Box campaign. And during our broadcast yesterday, we took you behind the scenes to show you not only some of the people involved in the effort, but also one family who benefited from your donations. Now, one of your Toy Box partners, Joplin's Abernathy Roofing, gave us help on Monday, and photojournalist Ty Parks went along as they shopped for toys at the Webb City Walmart.
We love Christmas, we love this time of year, and we were thrilled to partner up with KOAM. This is one of our favorite promotions throughout the year, so we're here for it. The fact that we get to be a part of making sure that more kiddos don't go without this time of year, we're thrilled to be a part of it. I think about older kids, younger kids, small, big, boys, girls. I try to think about them all when I'm out there looking at the toy selection and make sure that we get a little bit of everything for everybody. That there's such a joy that comes this time of year, just a fullness and a laughter and a love that we all get to celebrate together, and it's just our favorite time of year.
Our thanks to our shopping helpers from Abernathy Roofing, and we'll see a shopping adventure with the folks from Equity Bank later in the half hour. A Joplin organization that helps young people reestablish themselves has a new facility to better serve. Loving Grace cut the ribbon on that facility on Tuesday. It's called Doris House. It's a maternity home for young women ages 17 to 24 who are pregnant or parenting a child under the age of 1.
Well, it's kind of a dream of mine long ago. I always said if we could save one child, that's all it was worth. And so we've saved many. We have lost some. That's just the way that goes.
Loving Grace is at 1414 Euclid Avenue in Joplin. On Tuesday, Watered Gardens gave out some cash after its annual Empty Bowls fundraiser event. The event connected local artists with local food makers. The artists created bowls, the cooks fill them with soup, and folks like you buy the bowls and the soup, all while helping local charities. 20 restaurants took part, donating 5 gallons of soup for the event.
Some studies will say that to provide a meal for somebody is going to cost an organization about $2. So if you think about that, then the incredibly generous community that we live in, by raising over $28,000, is saying, hey, here are 14,000 meals for those in our community who are struggling.
More than 1,000 bowls and 500 bowl koozies were sold, benefiting Mission Joplin, We Care of the 4 States, Watered Gardens, and Hope Kitchen. It's 5:07.
Empty Bowls, an amazing event, and that gentleman we just heard from, an amazing person as well. Absolutely love Travis Hurley and everything that they do there at Watered Gardens. 69 in Joplin. How about 70 already in Chanute? 68 in Miami. Is this a July morning or a December morning? Well, it certainly feels more like July, to be sure. And this afternoon, challenging record highs once again. Wind warnings and wind advisories throughout, gusting close to 50 miles per hour. Now, as we get into the nighttime hours, here we roll. Thunderstorms work in from the northwest, part of that atmospheric river that the West Coast has had. And as it rolls through, we'll get some bands of heavy rain there. A little bit of a cool down. I had to put cool on Thursday because that's what it's going to feel like, even though that's still 10 degrees above normal.
All right, that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons tip off the SEK League play last night against Independence. We'll tell you how both the girls and boys did. Plus, 9 cities across the country set homicide records this year in the shadow of the anniversary of the Sandy Hook shooting. We'll take a look. And a COVID-19 pill could change the game in the pandemic fight as a third of Americans remain unvaccinated. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Pittsburgh Purple Dragons playing the SEK League opener last night and doing so against Independence. We'll start on the girls' side, where Independence started the league schedule with a 58-38 win. As for the boys, Purple Dragons aiming to earn the split and win their third straight against the Bulldogs. Mason English, ho! Monster first quarter, pull up 3 from the right side. Same thing, do it from the left side. Finally driving and the foul. English 18 points in the first quarter. Dragons go up by 9. Second quarter, look at this, Easton Ewing. Oh my, punch it one-handed. Indy gets within 5 at halftime. Get up to get down. Third quarter, Brecken birdie. 3 for the Bulldogs. Independence makes it a one-possession game, but Pittsburgh closes it out. Jackson Turnbull, do the work inside, gets the finish. Then back to Mason English. English, game high 30 points. Pittsburgh tops Independence in the conference opener. Final score 60-48. CNC last night, Colgan at home against Baxter Springs. Colgan girls win 54-19. Now 4-0 this season. Lily Brown scores 23 for the Panthers. In the boys game, Baxter beats Colgan 50-47. Tuesday night was semifinal night at the Lady Mustang Classic in McDonald County. Got one 4-state team still alive in the championship side of the bracket. It's the Carl Junction Bulldogs. And last night, CJ facing Fort Smith Southside. Winner gets a spot in the title game, and that will belong to your Carl Junction Bulldogs as they blow out Fort Smith 52-32. Now the Bulldogs face Bentonville West in the tournament championship. Pittsburgh State Gorillas returning to MIAA play. Do so at home against Lincoln tonight. On the women's side, Pitt State 7-2 to start the season, including a 3-1 mark in conference play. On the other side, Blue Tigers looking for their first league win, headed into the matchup 0-3 against MIAA competition. Now for Pitt State, you got a lot of things working in a positive right now. You're shooting the ball well, trusting each other, and the team chemistry, evidently it's going pretty well too.
I think our bond this year is one of the best bonds I've had since I've been here with a lot of my teammates. I think, yes, we have fun, but we're also pretty serious and we compete every single day, but there's always that good little bond that we have going.
I feel extremely blessed this year. I really do. Just feel really excited for this group. I'm a little emotional about it just because I just feel a lot of trust with them. I trust them, they trust me, and I think that it's very evident that they play for each other.
On the men's side, PSU aiming for a much-needed win tonight against Lincoln. Gorillas have lost 3 in a row, sitting at 2-8 overall through 10 games. Now, part of the problem, not shooting it that well lately and have 4 guys out with injuries. That makes it tough to find any type of rhythm.
It's been hard because, a lot of times you don't even know who's going to be available for practice. We have to be more consistent for 40 minutes. I mean, we might be good for 10 and awful for 5, well, those 5 kill us, so good teams have to be able to play 40 minutes, and certainly that's what we're working to do.
A big congratulations to Girard head football coach Neil Philpott, as he has been selected to coach in the 2022 Kansas Shrine Bowl. Philpott serving as an assistant coach for the game next summer that'll take place in Pittsburgh. This season a special one for Philpott and the Trojans as he led the team to their first undefeated regular season since 1999. Team finished with a 10-1 overall record, a district title, and a regional championship. The 2022 Kansas Shrine Bowl will be July 23rd and take place at Neil Philpott's old stomping grounds. Many of you remember him as the quarterback for Pittsburgh State. That game just happens to be at Carney Smith Stadium. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, a leaking fuel tanker in Haiti leads to an explosion, killing dozens of people. And a check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Maverick.
Now I got to wait for the powers that be to confirm everything and tell me when we have an official record. But yesterday we sat around for the afternoon waiting to see if we were going to break anything. I already think we got some pre-sunrise records here on the board. Here we are over Joplin, 7th and Rangeline, 69. Very, very windy, and we'll get to that. But the magic number, top left-hand corner, Chanute, because our daily almanac will tell you that today's record for Chanute is 68 degrees. That dates to 1915 and 1984. Once again, we'll wait for official confirmation, but that 70 should put 2021 as the new record holder for December the 15th. There's our wind tracker, 20 miles an hour just about everywhere you go. Those are sustained. We'll gust close to 50 miles per hour later on, so no surprise that we've got wind advisories. Temperatures going to just be about like yesterday. Excuse me, we're not going to see a huge bump by any means. We'll go low 70s, even some mid 70s there. We can even get some sunshine here a little bit later on. But of course, big thing that we're waiting on, not the scattered rain. Don't worry about that. And we're waiting on the thunderstorm activity for tonight as it rolls in and does so from the northwest down to the southeast. Really, probably from a start about 8 p.m. up in the northwest section, take us to about 5 a.m. down to the far southeast. A little bit of a cool down after that, but still very mild for this time of year. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Instapoll. Yesterday marked 9 years since 20 children and 6 adults were killed in the Sandy Hook school shooting in Newtown, Connecticut. President Biden marked the day by renewing his call for tougher gun legislation. The Sandy Hook anniversary comes amid a disturbing rise in homicides in cities across the country, and Ryan Young takes us behind the record numbers.
Across the country, police departments, cities, towns, and communities are dealing with an alarming rise in homicides. From Portland,
everybody has their head on a swivel,
to Birmingham.
Let's go right over to the street.
Now to Austin.
And this certainly is not the right reason, not something when we're setting this type of a record that we want to be in the news for.
Where the fast-growing city has shattered its yearly record for homicides, making 2021 the city's deadliest year on record. A CNN analysis of more than 40 of the most populous cities in the U.S. shows that 9 have already set homicide records before year's end. Indianapolis has surpassed their 2020 total of 215. Philadelphia with 529 homicides to date. Albuquerque, New Mexico with 107. And Austin, Texas.
What's it like to see the numbers of homicides that you guys are experiencing right now?
You know, it's just really disappointing, quite honestly.
Austin Police Chief Joseph Chacon says there's no one reason for these record high numbers, but he has noticed a disturbing trend.
We have seen really a spike in gun violence. So, just a proliferation of illegally owned weapons on the street.
Nationwide, more homicides are being committed by using guns than ever. Shootings have increased in nearly all major U.S. cities that track that data. There have been 89 homicides in Austin so far this year, according to the police department, almost double last year's total. And the city's homicide rate has ticked up to 8.5, putting it on par with numbers not seen consistently since the 80s.
What's cool is we have a down.
Austin PD is working to turn the tide using its real-time crime center and new Office of Violence Prevention.
If these guys were fighting, we can watch exactly what's going on.
Other cities are also looking into violence reduction strategies to combat violent crime.
We have a problem that is much deeper than Baltimore City.
In Baltimore, the mayor says they've taken 2,000 guns off the streets this year, but says the homicide rate is something many mayors around the country are dealing with.
We still have the historical things that are happening, the drugs, the gangs, the money, but so many more people are dying over small interpersonal disputes.
As the country grapples with a historic increase in the homicide rate and a reimagining of police departments, back in Austin, they're looking for solutions as fast as they can.
We need to get ahead of that problem, and as a community, as a city, that's what we're doing.
In a video released Tuesday, President Biden called on the Senate to pass tougher gun legislation, a bill on background checks, and one aimed at keeping guns out of the hand of abusers. There's another one that includes programs for community violence intervention. Our question to you this morning on the KOAM News Now Instapoll: what's the solution to gun violence? We've offered up a number of choices, 5 of them as a matter of fact. You can either connect to us via Facebook or KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with Health Watch next.
Topping Health Watch this morning, there's encouraging data on a new COVID-19 pill. as the U.S. marks 1 year since the first person received a vaccine against the virus. And more than a third of Americans remain unvaccinated. Skylar Henry reports from Washington.
I think it can be available this month.
1 year after its first COVID-19 vaccine shot was given in the U.S., drug maker Pfizer says its antiviral pill could soon be available in the fight against the virus.
Vaccines are needed. People need to prevent getting sick. They should not take chances that they may not get seriously sick because there is a pill that could treat them.
Appearing on CBS Mornings, Pfizer's CEO says the treatment is nearly 90% effective in reducing the risk of hospitalization or death in high-risk unvaccinated adults if taken within 3 days of the first COVID symptoms. Lab results also showed the drug worked against the Omicron variant, expected to dominate U.S. cases in the coming weeks. The U.S. is now averaging 120,000 new COVID cases a day. Nationwide, more than 800,000 Americans have died due to the virus since the pandemic began.
We're really trying to encourage people to get that boost to bolster their protection so that they're ready should they encounter the Omicron variant.
Congressional leaders held a moment of silence outside the Capitol Tuesday to honor those lost.
God bless America.
As COVID-19 cases continue to surge in the U.S., the latest CBS News poll finds nearly 1/3 of Americans who are vaccinated have no plans to get a booster shot, in spite of evidence that regular vaccinations are not enough to protect against the Omicron variant. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Washington.
More than 200 million Americans are now fully vaccinated. More than 3/4 of the eligible population have received at least one dose. U.S. COVID-19 death toll has now topped 800,000. That's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Good morning, I'm Tanya Bach with your KOAM News Update. A woman and child who were trapped in a fire in a Fort Scott apartment building are safe after a rescue. The fire broke out Tuesday morning in a second-story unit at the Highland Apartments on Shepherd Street. Firefighters managed to get the woman and child out through a bedroom window. Crews evacuated the entire building and contained the fire to the one unit. No injuries were reported. The fire department tells us the Red Cross is helping people who were displaced. On Tuesday, Water Gardens gave out some cash after its annual Empty Bowls fundraiser event. The event connected local artists with local food makers. The artists created bowls. The cooks filled them up with soup, and folks like you purchased the bowls and the soup, all while helping local charities. 20 restaurants took part, donating 5 gallons of soup for the event. Here's Michael with today's forecast.
It is going to be a warm and windy Wednesday. Temperatures reaching up into the mid-70s. Will challenge record highs once again. A little light scattered rain to begin with. Big action begins late tonight. Say about 7, 8 o'clock is where it formulates out to the northwest. And as it sweeps through, thunderstorm activity with some heavy rain. We'll roll lightning, thunder, and even some wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. A little bit cooler in the 50s tomorrow.
Coming up, Fort Scott firefighters rescue a woman and child from a burning apartment building. And a Joplin organization cuts the ribbon on a new facility to help young mothers. Also, you donate, and the 4 states benefits. We'll take you behind the scenes for a look at this year's Toy Box campaign.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, let's go to Michael Hayslip in the Skywatch Weather Center.
A little bit wild out there right now, considering we're halfway through the month of December, and it's 70 degrees in Chanute. Unofficially, we've already set a record in Chanute this morning, and we'll warm up into the mid-70s. It's already 69 right now in Joplin. Look at that last wind gust recorded at Joplin Regional Airport, 33 miles per hour. But at the same point in time, that's why we're all clumped together, anywhere from about 66, and once again, Chanute chiming in at 70 degrees. That is something else. Wind tracker, this is going to be the theme all day long. A little bit of a shift in our arrows there, moving in from the south-southwest right now, but we've seen an increase up to 23 miles per hour. And so that's why our wind advisories have increased as well. Now pretty much all encompassing the orangish tan that you see out to the west right there. That's a high wind warning. Then the lighter tan, those are wind advisories, and that are stretching from coast to Great Lakes right now. There's a cloud cover. We picked up some late night sprinkles. That's all it amounted to, only trace amounts, not even any accumulation to speak of. Mid-70s later on today, and then overnight, here comes thunderstorm activity. Now, I'd go ahead and just grab the umbrella on the way out, because every now and then we'll just get scattered throughout the course of the day. But then we get our uptick here out to the top left-hand portion of your screen. You can see it begin to gather, and as it rolls through, got a little heavy rain, got some additional high winds on that, some thunder and lightning as well. Finally dipping off. Really, the majority of it should be done here by, say, 5 o'clock tomorrow. And luckily, we stay out of that high category on the severe thunderstorm risk map. That's going to be up in Iowa, Minnesota, and Michigan. But you see, we're still in the marginal area, which that's going to be mostly wind is going to be our biggest threat. I don't think we'll see any hail out of this. A 7-day forecast where Thursday and Friday, we're going to call it cool because, that's 15, 16 degrees cooler than what we've had past couple of days, but still 10 degrees above normal.
Yeah.
Unreal.
That's hard to believe, but it's happening, so enjoy it.
And I look at these highs even in the next week. If you were going to tell me, let's take Tuesday for instance, if you were going to tell me it's going to be 58 in the latter third of December, yes, please.
A week leading
Absolutely.
up to Christmas, yeah. Hard to believe.
Mother Nature going to come back and get us in January and February.
Probably so.
She going to even it out.
Probably so. Plenty of time to prepare for it. All right, thanks, Michael. Well, a woman and child who were trapped in a fire in a Fort Scott apartment building are saved after a rescue. Fire broke out Tuesday morning in a second-story unit at the Highland Apartments on Shepherd Street. Firefighters managed to get the woman and child out through a bedroom window. Crews evacuated the entire building and contained the fire to one unit. No injuries were reported. The fire department tells us the Red Cross is helping people who were displaced. A Joplin organization that helps young people reestablish themselves has a new facility to better serve. Loving Grace cut the ribbon on that facility on Tuesday. It's called the Doris House. It's a maternity home for young women ages 17 to 24 who are pregnant or parenting a child under the age of 1.
Well, it's kind of a dream of mine long ago. I always said if we could save one child, that's all it was worth. And so we've saved many. We have lost some. That's just the way that goes.
Loving Grace is located at 1414 Euclid Avenue in Joplin. Earlier in the show, we took you behind the scenes with one of our Toy Box partners, Joplin's Abernathy Roofing. Well, Equity Bank also got in on the fun of giving to the community, and our photojournalist Ty Parks was only too happy to tag along to see what they purchased.
It feels really good to help out the community and also our customers because we serve the community at Equity Bank every day, and so it's nice to also be able to extend a helping hand for Christmas time and help out Santa. It's nice to think of the kids that are less fortunate and to help them out and their families, because it probably helps everyone to feel a little bit better during the holidays, and everyone likes to feel the Christmas spirit and get that little pop of goodness feel.
Honestly, it's a great feeling. I love giving back to the community, knowing to put a smile on kids' faces, and just being there to help them and give them toys for Christmas.
KOAM Toy Box! Well, for weeks, you've seen the KOAM studio fill up with toys you've donated to our annual Toy Box campaign. These toys will make so much of a difference to families in the area. Families like the Holmes family, who recently lost their home to a fire. KOAM's Jake Tackleberry has more.
Kids are pretty awesome. As a parent, when you watch your child at a park, you're given a glimpse back in time. In one moment, a rush of familiar sensations, the air streaming past your face on the swing, the smell of park wood chips, and the world spinning off its axis when you finally touch down from the merry-go-round. Kids have an innate ability to continue smiling and laughing, even following a tragedy.
Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but overall loss, we lost everything.
Earlier this year, Susan Holmes and her family lost their home to a fire.
So we ended up staying at a hotel, which actually was in a 2-bedroom apartment. And electrical was bad in Kaylin's room. And the air conditioner plug caught on fire, which was right next to her bed. And when she woke up, her bed was already in flames. And she came to my room, woke me up, and then seen the flames, got her out of there as quick as possible.
They're beginning to put the pieces back together now, but it's not something they can do completely on their own. And thanks to a supportive community, they won't have to. Santa's helpers with Toys for Tots in Delaware County, that area's KOAM toy box distributor, are stepping in to fill a major need this holiday season.
It means a lot to us that it's available because the girls deserve to have a good Christmas.
And these two girls are very prepared for Christmas.
You're missing your 2 front teeth? That's all you want for Christmas?
And an iPad. Or a Barbie kit.
It's thanks to folks like you that the fun goes on.
Look at me! Look at me, Dad! Mom!
Jake Tackerberry, KOAM News.
And thank you so much to everyone who makes our Toy Box campaign a success year after year. Your donations make such a difference in so many families' lives. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, a Kansas woman helps her friend give birth to a baby boy on an interstate highway. Plus, anger grows in Afghanistan after an accidental U.S. drone strike kills civilians. We'll have the latest, but first, it's 5:37.
We've got wind advisories and high wind warnings throughout the 4 states coming in right now at 20 to 25 miles per hour, gusting close to 40 miles per hour later on this afternoon. Temperatures just ridiculous for the middle of December, and the fact that we're not even to sunrise yet, anywhere from about 66 to 70 degrees. Top out around, we'll say 73, 74 this afternoon. Then tonight, after a little scattered rain for the afternoon hours, roll some thunderstorms. They're going to work from northwest down the southeast. A little lightning, thunder, and heavy rain to go along with it. Be back with World Watch next.
Topping World Watch, there's growing anger in Afghanistan over a U.S. military decision not to punish American troops involved in a deadly drone strike. The attack over the summer killed innocent Afghan civilians, including children. CBS's Tina Kraus reports from London.
The Pentagon says the drone strike unleashed on this Kabul neighborhood in August was a tragic mistake and not caused by misconduct or negligence.
I do not anticipate there being issues of personal accountability to be had with respect to the August 29th airstrike.
It happened in the final days of the U.S.-led evacuation of Kabul. U.S. forces were targeting a car they believed was an imminent threat. But the missile ended up killing 10 Afghan civilians.
This is me and Malika,
including Aimal Ahmadi's 3-year-old daughter, Malika. He's angry no one is being punished for the botched airstrike. If someone in the U.S. had lost a child, how would they react, he asks. We can't protest or take revenge, but God can. The intelligence about the car and its potential threat came just days after an Islamic State suicide bomber killed 13 U.S. troops and nearly 200 Afghans at Kabul airport. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
The U.S. is working to pay financial reparations to relatives and surviving family members of those killed in the drone strike and to potentially get them out of Afghanistan, but nothing has been finalized. A 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck off eastern Indonesia on Tuesday. That's according to the U.S. Geological Survey, but no tsunami warning was issued. It struck 112 kilometers north of Myanmar, Indonesia. United States Geological Survey said the quake struck at a depth of 47 miles in the Flores Sea at 11:20 p.m. Eastern Time. The quake made the people of Miramar City run out of their home, and folks living on the coastline were moved to higher ground in the event of a tsunami. So far, no buildings or houses seem to have been damaged. Miramar is the capital city of the Sika Regency District and the second largest town on Flores Island in southeastern Indonesia. It lies on the north coast of the island. It's also the closest city to the earthquake's epicenter. A fuel tanker exploded in Cap Haitian, Haiti after the truck had stopped due to mechanical issues and began leaking gas. City's Deputy Mayor Patrick Alamar says people gathered to collect fuel directly from the truck when the explosion occurred. The death toll from the blast has risen to at least 62 people. Local officials say rescue efforts are ongoing, but the death toll is expected to rise. Haiti has been crippled by a severe fuel shortage that has led to power outages and protests. Local officials say rescue efforts are ongoing, but the death toll is expected to rise. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Let's toss it over to Michael for something to talk about.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page in our morning Instapoll, gun violence as a record number of homicides, with Tuesday marking the 9-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook massacre in Connecticut. 6 adults and 20 children had their lives taken that day. It's an anniversary that comes as the country sees a marked rise in homicides. 9 cities have already set homicide records this year. Our question to you, with 5 different answers, is what's the solution, do you believe, to gun violence? Right now, 82% of you, an overwhelming amount, 82% say it's stiffer punishments. You can make your voice heard each and every morning, either by connecting to us via our Facebook page, or if you'd like to go straight to the poll, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A woman and child who were trapped in a fire in a Fort Scott apartment building are safe after a rescue. The fire broke out Tuesday morning in a second-story unit at the Highland Apartments on Shepherd Street. Firefighters managed to get the woman and child out through a bedroom window. Crews evacuated the entire building and contained the fire to the one unit. No injuries were reported. The fire department tells us the Red Cross is helping people who were displaced. Crowder College in Neosho has a new president. On Tuesday, the college made the announcement on Facebook. Dr. Katricia Pearson will take on the role January 13th. Dr. Pearson is currently the president of East Central University in Ada, Oklahoma. The current Crowder president, Dr. Glenn Coltharp, will stay on as an advisor until his retirement on June 30th. A Joplin organization that helps young people reestablish themselves has a new facility to better serve. Loving Grace cut the ribbon on that facility on Tuesday. It's called the Doris House. It's a maternity home for young women ages 17 to 24 who are pregnant or parenting a child under the age of 1. And on Tuesday, Watered Gardens gave out some cash after its annual Empty Bowls fundraiser event. The event connected local artists with local food makers. The artists created bowls, the cooks filled them up with soup, and folks like you purchased the bowls and the soup, all while helping local charities. 20 restaurants took part, donating 5 gallons of soup for the event. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
It is a windy one out there, that is for sure, but it's also very warm. Pre-sunrise temperatures ranging right now from 66 all the way to 70 degrees in Chanute. Unofficially, we have set a December 15th record already in Chanute. All we had to do is get past 68 degrees, and right now we got an even 70 on the board. Well, now we're going to pick up some light scattered rain throughout the later morning, early afternoon hours, but it's going to be trace amounts. More so just making sure that you're safe out there traveling east-west with the south-southwest wind. Now, as we get into Wednesday evening, then we get some thunderstorm action. It'll start top left-hand portion of your screen. And once this line begins to form, the majority of the severe weather, as far as what we'll see in the Midwest, it'll stay way up in Iowa and Minnesota. But that band right there, that's going to pack some heavy rain, some thunder, and some lightning in it as well. Eventually, as it dips off south of I-44 early Thursday morning, a little bit of a cool down, but 58 and 60 for Thursday and Friday are still hard to beat for the middle of December. Be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, a couple in Kansas welcomes the newest addition to their family, their newborn son, Miles. But the child's entry into this world was anything but typical. The surprise delivery played out on the side of an interstate in a pickup truck. Joe Baker reports.
Bo and Michelle Drexler's baby boy Miles wasn't due for 3 more weeks at the time, but when Michelle started having mild contractions,
we kind of raced to the truck and we're like, okay, this is probably the real deal.
Michelle had help from friend and co-worker Aminda Bruner. The journey began in Ellis. The plan was to head straight to the Rooks County Hospital in Plainville in Aminda's pickup. But within minutes of leaving her house, Michelle's water broke while on I-70. They pulled over and called 911. But baby Miles was determined, and I-70 is where he would be born. And here is where Miles was born, just east of the exit 153 sign, heading east towards Hayes.
As soon as we saw that he was healthy and had 10 fingers and 10 toes, the whole reality of the situation set in. But just seeing him and hearing him cry, it was like, okay, we just did this.
And for Dad, well, he thought he was being pranked.
My sister and I both were like, they're playing a YouTube video or something in the background, because it was silent for a little bit, other than a little bit of cry in the background. And then when Aminda got on and the panic in her voice was like, oh no, like, we gotta go.
Never in my wildest dreams would I ever imagine, delivering my best friend's baby, let alone on I-70 in my truck.
And for Grandma,
when you think back of it, you're just in disbelief that your grandbaby was born on the side of the interstate.
Well, according to the family, the mother and newborn son are doing well. Michael returns with another look at your forecast after the break.
5:57, roll a little weather on the 7s here. Abnormally warm and very, very windy. Already 69 degrees at Joplin Regional Airport. There's a live look over 7th and Rangeline. We already have a 70 in Chanute, unofficially a December 15th record for that will stand in 2021. Everything ranging pretty much from 66 to 70 degrees. And here we are, pre-sunrise temperatures in the middle of December with as much as a 20-degree increase even from yesterday that turned out to be delightful. As far as our wind goes, it is coming in from the south, a little shift to the southwest right there. And we've got wind advisories and our light tan, high wind warnings there in the orangish color lasting all the way until midnight, with these wind warnings lasting about, say 1,900 miles across the U.S. No precipitation to speak of right now. That will change here a little bit later this morning. Everything's going to begin as pretty much light as it moves in from the south. Gulf moisture beginning to pick up. Then this evening, that's when we get our band of thunderstorms that begins to roll in all the way through Thursday morning. We'll be back right after this.
Coming up, Fort Scott firefighters rescue a woman and child from a burning apartment building. And a Joplin organization cuts the ribbon on a new facility to help young mothers. Also, you donate and the 4 states benefits. We take you behind the scenes for a look at this year's Toy Box campaign.
The 4 states most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, let's go to Michael Hayslip in the Skywatch Weather Center.
All right, now we've got Joplin sitting at 70 degrees as well. Earlier, Chanute, I believe we have a December 15th record for Chanute. All I had to do is get past 68, jumped up to 70 degrees, and now we've got Joplin sitting at 70 as well. The lowest number we have on the board right now is 66. That is just so tremendous. Considering it's December the 15th. It does not feel like December the 15th. That being said, we've got very high winds coming out of the south-southwest right now, resulting in high wind warnings that you will see there in the orange. And then the lighter tan are wind advisories, and those are going to last all day long. Eventually, even with some mostly cloudy skies to begin with, we make it up into the mid-70s. We'll get a little peek of sunshine every now and then, and able to do so, even with some light scattered rain that begins to roll through for later this morning into the afternoon. Then we get a break until the thunderstorms develop out to our northwest. And this band is going to be pretty good as it rolls through. And once it gets through, there's not anything on the backside of it, but it's going to pack some heavy rain in there, thunder and lightning, and the wind really won't subside until the system moves all the way through the 4 states. 7-day forecast. Yeah, we cool down to 58 on Thursday, pick up some additional rain there on Friday, and just kind of languish in the 60s. Still looking at the bigger cold front is going to be from Friday into Saturday, with overnight lows over the weekend finally dropping below the freezing point.
Well,
Been a while since we've talked about the old freezing point.
below the freezing point. Yeah, I was asking you yesterday, have we actually had nights where we dropped below freezing yet this
Yeah,
month?
we have. Certainly not like what we should. We're still about 12 degrees above, when you take in our daily high, daily low, put those together and come up with an average temperature, we're still about 12 degrees above normal for the first 14 full days of December.
Wow. Wow. All right. Thanks, Michael. The Newton County prosecutor files murder charges against a man accused in a shooting death. The prosecutor charged Cameron Stotts with first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Investigators say Stotts shot and killed Alexis Guajardo Perez on November 9th. You can read more about the crime on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A woman and child who were trapped in a fire in this Fort Scott apartment building are safe after a rescue. The fire broke out Tuesday morning in a second-story unit at the Highland Apartments on Shepherd Street. Firefighters managed to get the woman and child out through a bedroom window. Crews evacuated the entire building and contained the fire to the one unit. No injuries were reported. The fire department tells us the Red Cross is helping people who were displaced. Crowder College in Neosho has a new president. On Tuesday, the college made the announcement on Facebook. Dr. Katricia Pearson will take on the role on January 13th. Dr. Pearson is currently the president of East Central University in Ada, Oklahoma. The current Crowder president, Dr. Glenn Colthorpe, will stay on as an advisor until his retirement on June 30th. Oklahoma tribal leaders say Governor Kevin Stitt's decision to not renew hunting and fishing license compacts with the Cherokee and Choctaw Nations is part of an ongoing dispute. The tribes and the governor have been at odds over issues, including a U.S. Supreme Court ruling regarding criminal jurisdiction and casino compacts. 2016 licensing compacts provided hunting and fishing licenses to the Cherokee and Choctaw Nations at little or no cost to the tribal citizens. A Stitt spokesperson said Stitt believes all Oklahomans should be treated equally. When you donate to the KOAM Toy Box Project, every cent you give goes to buy toys, and those toys go to kids in the county where they were donated in. As you saw from our telethons, it takes a lot of people to power the Toy Box campaign. And during our broadcast yesterday, we took you behind the scenes to show you not only some of the people involved in the effort, but also one family who benefited from your donations. Now, one of our Toy Box partners, Joplin's Abernathy Roofing, gave us help on Monday. And photojournalist Ty Parks went along as they shopped for toys at the Webb City Walmart.
We love Christmas. We love this time of year, and we were thrilled to partner up with KOAM. This is one of our favorite promotions throughout the year, so we're here for it. The fact that we get to be a part of making sure that more kiddos don't go without this time of year, we're thrilled to be a part of it. I think about older kids, younger kids, small, big, boys, girls. I try to think about them all when I'm out there looking at the toy selection and make sure that we get a little bit of everything for everybody. That there's such a joy that comes this time of year, just a fullness and a laughter and a love that we all get to celebrate together, and it's just our favorite time of year.
Our thanks to our shopping helpers from Abernathy Roofing, and we'll see a shopping adventure with the folks from Equity Bank a little later in the show. Well, Joplin organization that helps young people reestablish themselves has a new facility to better serve. Loving Grace cut the ribbon on that facility Tuesday. It's called the Doris House. It's a maternity home for young women ages 17 to 24 who are pregnant or parenting a child under the age of 1.
Well, it's kind of a dream of mine long ago. I always said if we could save one child, that's all it was worth. And so we've saved many. We have lost some. That's just the way that goes.
Loving Grace is at 1414 Euclid Avenue in Joplin. On Tuesday, Watered Gardens gave out some cash after its annual Empty Bowls fundraiser event. The event connected local artists with local food makers. The artists created bowls, the cooks filled them up with soup, and folks like you, purchase the bowls and the soup, all while helping local charities. 20 restaurants took part, donating 5 gallons of soup for the event.
Well, some studies will say that to provide a meal for somebody is going to cost an organization about $2. So if you think about that, then the incredibly generous community that we live in, by raising over $28,000, is saying, hey, here are 14,000 meals for those in our community who are struggling.
More than 1,000 bowls and 500 bowl koozies were sold, benefiting Mission Joplin, We Care of the Four States, Watered Gardens, and Hope Kitchen. 6:07.
And our temperatures right now ranging from 66 to 70 degrees, which means we'll make it up into the mid-70s later on this afternoon. Little light scattered rain that moves through with Gulf moisture, then thunderstorm activity for tonight. Start about 6-7 o'clock on the northwestern quadrant and work through from northwest down to southeast. Going to have some lightning and thunder with that as well. Temperatures then dropping into the high 50s, low 60s to end the work week.
Look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, Sherry Dilson stops by from the K-State Extension Office to talk about activities you can do with your kids over the holiday break. We all need to keep them busy, we know. Plus, the U.S. hit a milestone of 800,000 plus deaths from COVID-19. We'll have the latest updates on how Omicron is expected to dominate the strand over Delta. And traveling for the holidays, we'll have the latest holiday travel forecast on how expensive it'll be to go visit the family this year. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Take your DIY.
In Consumer Watch this morning, last year millions of Americans canceled their holiday travel plans during the pandemic, but that is changing this year. Courtney Keeley explains.
Sean Willis and his family are leaving town early for the holidays and making up for lost time. Last year they didn't travel because of the pandemic.
So how many family members are you going to be seeing?
A lot.
He's well aware the trip comes as COVID cases are rising.
Of course, there's a little bit of concern here or there. Everybody's masked up, vaccinated up, so outside of that, I think we're comfortable.
Whether by plane, train, or automobile, AAA predicts 109 million people will travel during the holidays, 28 million more than last year.
This holiday travel season is going to feel like a pre-pandemic travel season.
Andy Gross from AAA says airline travel is expected to see a 184% increase over last year.
So there will be lines at the airport. So our advice is get there early.
Along with longer lines, vacationers can expect higher prices this year.
Ticket prices during Christmas week are 5% higher than last year. Rates at mid-range hotels are up 36%, and rental cars are costing 20% more.
Everything is just going to be a little more expensive this year. The one area where prices have been sliding recently is gasoline.
The national average for a gallon of regular unleaded has dropped 9 cents in the past month. Drivers may be getting a break at the pump, but there is expected to be plenty of traffic. AAA predicts 100 million Americans will hit the road for the holidays. Courtney Keeley, CBS News, New York.
Well, Americans have been donating more during the pandemic holiday season. According to the marketing firm Top Agency, the average amount each American gave to charitable causes in December 2020 was $608. That's 25% higher than the previous December. Utah was the state with the highest average donation, a little more than $2,800 per resident, while Rhode Island had the lowest at just under $200. The study also found millennials were more likely than baby boomers to donate. Today's picture with Santa is the Sorrell family out of Pittsburgh. Let's take a look. Here we have Nolan Sorrell, age 2, Marley Sorrell, also 2 years old, and Neely Sorrell at 8 years old. What a cute family. Your last chance to get your kid's photo with Santa and get it featured on KOAM is Saturday, December 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Christmas Shop in Pittsburgh. These pictures taken on that evening will be featured next week on our morning show. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, and I tell you what, here's the best part about having people back in the studio is we get to visit with our good friend Sherry Nelson. Sherry, it's been so long since we've had you in the K-State Extension Office, Youth Development, and Sherry, we're here because we're counting down as the kids get ready for Christmas vacation, and they're looking forward to it. Parents and grandparents we're like, oh, they're going to go stir crazy. And so that's why I come to you, because we always look for kind of unique things that we can do with our kids, yet do so without breaking the bank, because we've got the gift giving that's coming up.
Right.
What you've brought in this marvelous, Elmer's glue, bird seed, and puzzle pieces.
Right.
And that's all we need.
Yeah.
All right, so what are we going to put together today?
Okay, well, first of all, I did a little bird feeder that the kids could do at home. Just take like a styrofoam little bowl or something. It's just bird seed, some clear gelatin, and a little bit of flour and corn syrup. You mix that together, and then you make your own little bird feeder bells. Later, hopefully January, February, the birds will like to have these to eat.
We can just hang those outside the window. If you have a couple of kids,
Absolutely.
everybody can make their own.
Absolutely.
How long does it take to dry?
It typically, I would, as soon as you put it in the bowl, put it in the refrigerator for a couple hours. And
that's it?
That's it. Yeah, it doesn't take it very long.
So the kids don't have to wait. They're not going to be waiting several days for it to dry out.
Maybe you've put a little Christmas tree outside for the birds, and you can hang these in your Christmas tree outside.
Well, if we're going to do that, how about we talk about some ornaments that we can make as well?
I brought some pieces today. This is real easy. If you have some puzzles at home
Coming off a pandemic, we all got puzzles.
Maybe you have missing pieces. We all have those puzzles that we put it together, and there's one or two pieces missing. But you can take those puzzle pieces and you can paint them white.
Okay.
This puzzle just happened to be a blank puzzle that you can draw on yourself, so it was already white. But you're just going to take 7 pieces of that puzzle, and you're just going to take some Elmer's glue.
So really, what, the glue's going to run me 99 cents. Chances are the kids already have some.
Right, and just put it on the end.
And like I said, Lord knows we've got enough puzzles sitting around the house,
Exactly.
that's for sure.
And then you're just going to arrange it, and you're going to make a little snowflake, basically.
Oh, I get you.
And so you're just going to arrange these puzzle pieces in the different spots, wherever you'd like to put them. And the kids will.
And here's the great thing about this: no matter what age your kids are, you can't go wrong putting together a snow. Every snowflake's unique, right?
Exactly. Every snowflake is going to be unique and different. And then you'll just attach, after that dries, you'll just attach a string or a piece of ribbon or something like that on the back, and you can hang it from a doorknob or from the Christmas tree or whatever you like to.
And by painting these white, I could actually have, like, the kids could make a little snow, whatever they want.
Exactly. They could make whatever color they want or anything else. So, and some other fun things to do with kids to make memories. Bake cookies or something in the kitchen. I know some of my fondest memories were baking cookies with my mom and grandma in the kitchen.
Sometimes it's spending time together.
Exactly.
Granted, I know we're all going to get stir crazy here by the time Christmas vacation is over, but it's just spending time.
Exactly.
What else do we have coming up on the horizon as far as youth development goes with the Extension Office?
Well, we've got a few things coming up. We're pretty quiet for the rest of this year, but then come January, we'll have some area judgings for our record books. The older kids get to have their record books judged on the area level to potentially go on to state competition, and we'll have club days coming up. So
excellent. Well, once again, I want to let's revisit this. Sherry showing us a bird feeder that it probably takes 45 minutes to make and just a couple hours to cool, and the kids have some instant gratification that they can hang up. And with the weather being what it is right now, probably got some birds that are still looking for food.
Yeah.
And then once again, a wonderful idea. I don't want to pick this up, folks, because it's drying, but this wonderful idea for the snowflake ornament, and all you have to do is take white puzzle pieces. And remember, tell your kids, explain to your kids that every snowflake is unique, and that way there's no wrong way.
No, there's no wrong way to do it. And, just like snowflakes, every kid is unique and every kid is different. So.
Sherry Nelson, thank you so much. So great to have you in the studio.
Yes.
So great to see you in person.
Glad to be back.
Not that you don't do a wonderful job over Zoom. It's just nice to be able to present these to people in person. So. Sherry Nelson of the Kansas State Extension of on a Wildcat Wednesday, 4-H Youth Development.
Yes.
We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
This Christmas.
Topping Health Watch this morning, it's been 1 year since some of the first people were vaccinated against COVID-19. And 1 year to the day, the U.S. hit a somber milestone. More than 800,000 people have died from the virus since the start of the pandemic. As Britt Conway reports, the Delta variant still dominates, but health experts say it probably won't be long until Omicron takes its place.
My beloved Uncle John, and he was a really great person.
John Zeem.
Everything is just, I have to get through this day. Don't worry about the next one.
Gigi Morse. 2 of the more than 800,000 people who've died from COVID-19 in the U.S. since the start of the pandemic. Lawmakers held a moment of silence on the steps of the U.S. Capitol. President Joe Biden says more Americans must act and get vaccinated, claiming vaccinations have saved more than 1 million Americans. But nearly 40% of those eligible haven't been fully vaccinated. In the meantime, new COVID cases are up nearly 50% from a month ago, and hospitalizations are up more than 40%. The Delta variant is still dominant. Omicron only accounts for about 3% of cases sequenced in the U.S. right now. But health experts say it might not stay that way for long.
Omicron is spreading at a rate we have not seen with any previous variant.
We are watching a war right now between the Delta variant and the Omicron variant.
It is going to be dominant in the United States, given its doubling time.
It's too early to say if Omicron is less severe, but
right now, many states are having major outbreaks. The healthcare systems are being overwhelmed. That's what we want to avoid.
I'm Britt Conway reporting.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Already warm and windy with temperatures into the 70s and south wind 20 to 25 miles per hour. We're going to get some thunderstorm activity here later on this evening. It really doesn't kick up until, say about 5, 6 o'clock up to the northwest. As it rolls through overnight, some thunder, some lightning to go along with a band of heavy rain and a little bit of a cool down, even though you'd still say 58 on Thursday and 60 on Friday. Abnormally warm, if you will, for this time of year. And so once again, we're going to try to set some December 15th records temperature-wise this afternoon.
Coming up, Fort Scott firefighters rescue a woman and child from a burning apartment building. And a Joplin organization cuts the ribbon on a new facility to help young mothers. Also, you donate and the 4 states benefits. We take you behind the scenes for a look at this year's Toy Box campaign.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:30. I'm Tanya Bach. We'll get to those stories in just a moment. But first, let's go to Michael Hayslip in the Skywatch Weather Center.
It's a warm, windy Wednesday. Our current conditions over 7th and Rangeline, already 69 degrees. That humidity, look at that uptick. What was it, 48 hours ago? We were talking about humidity that was down about 30% at this time in the morning. That's why we had those elevated fire concerns. Well, now that it's up to 81%, an idea that the Gulf moisture is beginning to pick up, and that's going to feed us not only some scattered rain throughout the course of the later morning and afternoon hours, but also result in some thunderstorms later tonight. Before we get there, let's talk temperatures. Now we've got Pittsburgh that's up to 70. So, seeing as how we started the show, we've seen Chanute, Joplin, and Pittsburgh now hit 70 at some point in time. 68 in Miami and in Neosho. Let's roll 67 in Parsons and Monette. There's an idea of the wind tracker. It's been a little bit vicious out there. In fact, blowing in a little bit harder than what we had even yesterday. That's why we've got wind advisories for the light tan, that orangish color indicating a high wind warning. Only a little bit of an overcast day once again. We'll get a little more peak of sunshine on Wednesday than what we had on Tuesday, and able to make it up into the mid-70s, so challenging record highs once again. Unofficially, we already have a record today in Chanute. That 70 degrees eclipses the 68 that was set back in 1983. There's our scattered rain. It rolls through for the afternoon hours. Trace accumulations on that. Here comes the good one. Originate about 6, 7 o'clock in the northwest, sweeps through, heavy rain, thunder, and lightning. Takes us from late Wednesday into early Thursday morning. Should be done by about 5 a.m. So hopefully that doesn't hamper your commute. You'll notice the most severe weather stays in the upper plains, portions of Iowa, Minnesota, and Michigan. We do find ourselves in that marginal category. A high wind is going to be our threat. So not only a windy morning and afternoon, Tanya, but even as the thunderstorms roll in, may even see a little bit of an uptick in that. We'll calm down though by the time we get to Thursday morning.
All right. It will be nice to get rid of some of that wind.
I don't know. If you're going to tell me it's going to result in 73, 74 degrees.
True. As long as the wind comes from the south and not the north.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thanks, Michael. Well, Joplin organization that helps young people reestablish themselves has a new facility to better serve. Loving Grace cut the ribbon on that facility Tuesday. It's called the Doris House. It's a maternity home for young women ages 17 to 24 who are pregnant or parenting a child under the age of 1.
Well, it's kind of a dream of mine long ago. I always said if we could save one child, that's all it was worth. And so we've saved many. We have lost some. That's just the way that goes.
Loving Grace is at 1414 Euclid Avenue in Joplin. Well, earlier in the show, we took you behind the scenes with one of our Toy Box partners, Joplin's Abernathy Roofing. Equity Bank also got in on the fun of giving to the community, and our photojournalist Ty Parks was only too happy to tag along to see what they bought.
It feels really good to help out the community and also our customers because we serve the community at Equity Bank every day, and so it's nice to also be able to extend a helping hand for Christmas time and help out Santa. It's nice to think of the kids that are less fortunate and to help them out and their families, because it probably helps everyone to feel a little bit better during the holidays, and everyone likes to feel the Christmas spirit and get that little pop of goodness feel.
Honestly, it's a great feeling. I love giving back to the community, knowing to put a smile on kids' faces, and just being there to help them and give them toys for Christmas.
KOAM Toy Box! For weeks, you've seen the KOAM studio fill up with toys, and you've donated to our annual Toy Box campaign. These toys will make so much of a difference to families in the area. Families like the Holmes family, who recently lost their home to a fire. KOAM's Jake Tackberry has more.
Kids are pretty awesome. As a parent, when you watch your child at a park, you're given a glimpse back in time. In one moment, a rush of familiar sensations, the air streaming past your face on the swing, the smell of park wood chips, and the world spinning off its axis when you finally touch down from the merry-go-round. Kids have an innate ability to continue smiling and laughing, even following a tragedy.
Thankfully, nobody was hurt, but overall loss, we lost everything.
Earlier this year, Susan Holmes and her family lost their home to a fire.
We ended up staying at a hotel, which actually was in a 2-bedroom apartment, and electrical was bad in Kaylin's room, and the air conditioner plug caught on fire, which was right next to her bed, and when she woke up, her bed was already in flames. And she came to my room, woke me up, and then seen the flames, got her out of there as quick as possible.
They're beginning to put the pieces back together now, but it's not something they can do completely on their own, and thanks to a supportive community, they won't have to. Santa's helpers with Toys for Tots in Delaware County, that area's KOAM Toy Box distributor, are stepping in to fill a major need this holiday season.
It means a lot to us that it's available, because the girls deserve to have a good Christmas.
And these two girls are very prepared for Christmas.
You're missing your 2 front teeth? That's all you want for Christmas?
And an iPad. Or a Barbie kit.
It's thanks to folks like you that the fun goes on.
Look at me! Look at me, Dad! Mom!
Jake Tackberry, KOAM News.
Thank you so much to everyone who makes our Toy Box campaign success a success year after year. Your donations make such a difference in so many families' lives. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A Pennsylvania senator's office, as well as an NAACP office, was targeted in a shooting, leaving one man fighting for his life. Plus, gun violence is on the rise. Not only have 9 cities set homicide records, schools in the U.S. are seeing a record number of gun-related violence within them. What do you think the solution is for gun violence? We'll let you weigh in, but first it's 6:37.
And we welcome Lamar to the 70 Degree Club, home of the Tigers, chiming in, as well as Pittsburgh. We've now seen 5 communities reach 70 degrees in the middle of December. And as we get into the afternoon, we'll probably throw up some mid-70s up there. Light scattered rain take us into the afternoon, then we get a break before the real action occurs. That's thunderstorms that work through for tonight all the way into early Thursday morning. We'll pack some thunder and lightning in there. A little bit of a cool down, but still not too bad on Thursday and Friday, as we'll be in the high 50s and low 60s. We'll be back with Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, a Pennsylvania state senator's office and the office of the Philadelphia NAACP are hit by gunfire Monday night. At a news conference on Tuesday, local leaders spoke out about the disturbing rise in gun violence in Philadelphia's black communities. Saifa Lewis reports.
We are tired of the same things happening. We're asking for help, but we're also letting you know that we are here in solidarity. We are not going to stop doing what we do. The NAACP is here to help.
As of December 9th, nearly 2,200 Philadelphians have been shot this year. 84% of them were classified as African American. And of the city's record high and counting 529 homicides, 457 died as a result of gunshot wounds.
We're in a state of war in the city of Philadelphia and many cities across America. The United States of America must stand up to the proliferation of guns and a lackluster culture that does not stand up to illegal guns pouring into our community.
Discrepancies in how crime is treated, even at the scholastic level, was also discussed.
Out in the main line, when there was a shooting at Lower Merion High School, I heard about a few years. They shut the whole school down, and every kid got to talk to a counselor. I'm told about a year ago when that happened. With our kids, it's become so normalized. They can have their best friend killed, and we got them back in school the next day.
And there are, as is so often the case in America in 2021, political considerations. This one centered on a budget surplus in Harrisburg called a rainy day fund for an emergency.
That other side of the aisle, as my senators talked about, that we're talking about, the rainy day fund. Well, damn it, it's raining in Philadelphia. Yes. Hello. How much more do we have to say?
Representative Parker concluded her remarks with a forceful plea to all who would listen.
No more on our watch. We should be wearing black dresses every single day. No more teddy bears on the street. No more balloons being worn. Today is the day that we're calling on what she said, the CEO, to make sure he does what he's supposed to do, release the funds for these organizations and our babies. We deserve to live.
Police say the shooting left a 25-year-old man fighting for his life. The incident is still under investigation. No word if any suspects have been identified. A bill that would avert the nation's default on its debt is on its way to President Biden's desk, with possibly just hours left to spare. The House voted in the early hours on Wednesday to raise the national debt ceiling by $2.5 trillion. The vote followed a similar move in the Senate on Tuesday, and it came after Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen warned the U.S. could reach its debt limit as early as Wednesday. If it does, that would be the nation's first default, which could backfire on the economy. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said the new debt limit would be extended into 2023, which means the issue would not have to be addressed again until after next year's midterm elections. The House has voted to hold another Trump ally, former Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, in contempt of Congress. Meadows failed to appear before the House Select January 6 committee last week, despite a subpoena. Natalie Brand has the latest from Capitol Hill, where the District of Columbia also announced a major civil case against participants in the January 6th assault.
The resolution is adopted.
For the second time this year, the House voted to refer criminal contempt charges to the Justice Department in connection to the January 6th investigation, this time against former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, who also once served in Congress.
It must be our ability to compel people to testify.
We see this as a nakedly partisan exercise. There's not even any pretense about it at this point.
The 9-member January 6th committee investigating the assault on the Capitol unanimously recommended the charge Monday night after Meadows defied a subpoena to testify. Meadows had previously turned over roughly 9,000 pages of emails and texts from the days surrounding the attack. Donald Trump Jr. texted Meadows, "He's got to condemn this ASAP. The Capitol Police tweet is not enough." Fox News host Sean Hannity urged Meadows to tell President Trump to make a statement and ask people to leave the Capitol. Meadows has defended himself multiple times on the same network, citing executive privilege.
The executive privilege that Donald Trump has claimed is his to waive, and that's why we filed the lawsuit, to hopefully get the courts to weigh in.
Meanwhile, the Attorney General for the District of Columbia announced he's suing two far-right groups, the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, for their role in the January 6th attack.
Holding wrongdoers accountable is an American value.
It's the first civil lawsuit against individuals connected to January 6th, accusing them of causing harm to the district, democracy, and police. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The House previously referred former Trump advisor Stephen Bannon for contempt of Congress charges, and his trial begins in July. The House Select January 6th committee has more depositions scheduled this week from former Trump administration officials Stephen Miller and Jeffrey Clark, as well as longtime ally Roger Stone. Clark and Stone say they will invoke their Fifth Amendment rights. That's a look at today's top national stories. Let's check back in with Michael for something to talk about.
Thank you, Tanya. This morning on the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll discussing gun violence. Tuesday marking the 9-year anniversary of the Sandy Hook massacre in Connecticut. 6 adults and 20 children had their lives taken that day. It's an anniversary that comes as the country sees a marked rise in homicides. 9 cities have already set homicide records this year. Our question for you, what's the solution to gun violence? Right now, 3/4 of you, just about. 74% say it comes down to tougher punishments. Coming in second place, a distant second place, more background checks at 16%. Appreciate everybody's engagement. 2 ways to connect with us each and every morning. One of those is via our Facebook page. If you'd like to go directly to the poll, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back with birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, William Walker. The Oswego, Kansas native served in the Army at Fort Meade, and we thank you for your service, Corporal William Walker, this morning's four-state hero.
Our birthday list begins with Noah Puckett. I love that hat, Noah. A happy 6th birthday to you. He is in Fredonia.
All right, and we've got Josie Gardner, turning 7 strong this year. Look at that smile there on Josie. Josie is in Chanute, Kansas.
In the Berg, Banks Powell. Hey, enjoying some summer-like weather, I see. He is turning 8. Happy birthday, Banks.
All right, and Lauren O'Brien. Hard to believe, already a freshman this year at St. Mary's Colgan, turning 15 years old. Happy birthday, Lauren.
Angela Myers-Schloop is celebrating her 47th birthday, decked out in her Chiefs attire right there. And Angela, these birthday wishes come with love from Mom, Doug, and the entire family.
Sonny Pike celebrating birthday number 53 this year in Nevada.
Cool picture. I like that.
Yeah.
I do like that. Linda Sarton, a happy 66th birthday. Now, Linda works at Prairie Mission Retirement Village in St. Paul. And Linda, happy birthday with love from the family and friends as she gets ready to take off for Prairie Mission Retirement Village in July.
All right. And Beverly Covey celebrating birthday number 67 this year in Ellsmore, Kansas. Happy birthday, Beverly.
Let's take a trip to Arma, where Dickie Cleland is celebrating his 70th birthday. A very happy birthday, Mr. Cleland.
All right. Corvin Bowen turning 13 years old this year in McCune. His birthday was actually yesterday. With love from Mom and Dad. Happy birthday, Corbin. Logan North is celebrating number 29 this year in Riverton. And John Hale turning 23.
Happy birthday and happy anniversary to all on this warm December the 15th. That's where you can turn them into. Birthdays at KOAMTV.com, or if you would like to jump on the interweb, KOAMNewsNow.com. Here's Tanya Bach with a very important birthday announcement.
That's right. You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. And once you do, you'll get special deals from local businesses. Go to KOAMNewsNow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today.
Now, for those of you celebrating birthdays and anniversaries, it might end up being a record-setting day temperature-wise. We've already unofficially broken a record in Chanute, where it was 70 earlier. Joplin sits at 69 degrees as we watch the traffic pick up over 7th and Range Line. Nobody's sitting at 70 now, but every now and then we've seen Lamar, Pittsburgh, Joplin, Chanute all bebop up to 70 degrees at some point this morning. Miami is at 68 along with Neosho, and let's roll 66. That's as cool as we get. Isn't that something else? Cool as we get. It's 66 degrees right now. It is a windy one coming in from the south-southwest, 20 to 25 miles per hour, so no surprise that our wind advisories in the tan and the orange indicating high wind warnings. Those have expanded quite a bit from yesterday geographically. And a little bit of an overcast start. We'll get a little bit more sunshine than what we had yesterday and actually end up in the mid-70s this afternoon. Now, a good idea to hold on to the umbrella. Wind probably blow it inside out. Nothing we could do about that. But we are going to get some scattered rainfall. Haven't picked up any as of yet, but a little bit of scattered rainfall here as we progress through future track. Now, about 6, 7 o'clock, that's when we see the thunderstorm line develop. And as this thing rolls through, it's going to bring us some pretty good rain with thunder and lightning. It'll last from Wednesday night all the way into early Thursday morning. Should be done with it about 5 a.m. Hopefully it won't affect the commute that much. The severe weather, best threat for severe weather, has been expanded as the severe thunderstorm risk map is updated throughout the course of the morning. Now we're seeing that high category drop all the way almost to the Iowa-Missouri state line. We find ourselves in the marginal category. Our biggest threat is going to be wind on top of what we have now. Wind gusts close to 50 miles per hour, and should be able to avoid any hail. So that's good news. A little bit of a cool down there on Thursday and Friday, but still very mild for this time of year. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News right after this. Look at the 7-day forecast here as temperatures are going to be in the mid-70s today. We've already rolled pre-sunrise 70-degree temperatures. Remember, though, we've got thunderstorms that develop late tonight, and we're going to get some pretty good rain out of that to go along with the thunder and the lightning.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A woman and child who were trapped in a fire in this Fort Scott apartment building are safe after a rescue. The fire broke out Tuesday morning in a second-story unit at the Highland Apartments on Shepherd Street. Firefighters managed to get the woman and child out through a bedroom window. Crews evacuated the entire building and contained the fire to the one unit. No injuries were reported. The fire department tells us the Red Cross is helping people who were displaced. Crowder College in Neosho has a new president. On Tuesday, the college made the announcement on Facebook. Dr. Katricia Pearson will take on the role on January 13th. Dr. Pearson is currently the president of East Central University in Ada, Oklahoma. The current Crowder president, Dr. Glenn Coltharp, will stay on as an advisor until his retirement on June 30th. A Joplin organization that helps young people reestablish themselves has a new facility to better serve. Loving Grace cut the ribbon on that facility Tuesday. It's called Doors House. It's a maternity home for young women ages 17 to 24 who are pregnant or parenting a child under the age of 1. On Tuesday, Watered Gardens gave out some cash after its annual Empty Bowls fundraiser event. The event connected local artists with local food makers. The artists created bowls, the cooks fill them with soup, and folks like you buy the bowls and the soup, all while helping local charities. 20 restaurants took part, donating 5 gallons of soup for the event. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
What do you want to do at noon?
Coming up today at noon, We're going to be making some holly jolly fudge in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
He's been on like a dessert chocolate sweet binge.
Well, yesterday we had a side dish, that onion tart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about the onions. But I mean, other than that, he's been on a chocolate binge, I can tell. Check out, we'll go see what Howard's got whipping up. All right, your morning news continues. We got the CBS Morning News. That's coming up next.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And we've got a lot going on.
Well, yeah, because we keep on getting advancements in the severe thunderstorm risk map, and while that high category doesn't involve us, we are seeing that creep slowly toward the Iowa-Missouri state line up to the north, and so we're going to constantly keep updating that. Stay with us, flip on over, and join us on Fox. That wraps up this Wednesday edition. Enjoy the warmth. Do me a favor. Be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.
Lander Chevrolet of Joplin is